She's gone. Or at least, that's the good act she's putting on for everyone, especially for you. The person who used to be the center of your world now acts like you're a stranger. The private jokes you shared, the late night talks that made you close, the future you planned together, it all seems to be gone, replaced by a cold silence. Her social media now looks like a perfect picture of fake happiness. It's full of posts about fun nights out, new hobbies, and happy times with friends. It looks so perfect and so different from the life you had with her that it feels like she's trying to hurt you. But then, just as you start to believe she's moved on, you see cracks in her act of not caring. She views your Instagram story at 2 a.m, a time when people are honest. A friend you both know says she asked how you were doing. A simple question that seems to mean more. A song that was your song suddenly shows up on her public playlist, which feels too specific to be random. These are small signs that make you question everything. Was your connection real? Did those close moments mean anything to her? Or was it all leading to this confusing and painful quiet? What if I told you this silence doesn't mean she has moved on? What if it's actually proof of the opposite? Her mind isn't free. It's likely trapped in a way you wouldn't expect. This isn't about her hating you, or even her still loving you in a simple way. It's about something much deeper, a mix of needs and fears she doesn't even realize she has. Today, we're going to look at the hidden feelings and the crisis of who she is that make it almost impossible for her to truly let you go. By the end, you'll understand her confusing actions and see where your true power in this situation has been all along. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my effective online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course takes things to an entirely new level, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction, and you won't find this information in any video on my channel. It's available in both English and Spanish language, so you can learn in the language you feel most comfortable with. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit thestoiccouple.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Section 1. The Ghost of Intimacy. The first and strongest reason she's tied to you is the deep feeling of loneliness she's facing now. In the relationship, you were the main person, maybe the only person, who made her feel seen, understood, and completely safe. You were the one she called after a bad day, the one who knew when she was worried without her saying a word, and the one who could make her feel calm just by being there. When the relationship ends, all of that is suddenly gone. The silence isn't just about not hearing your voice. For her, it's a loud, empty feeling because she lost the support and safety she was used to. This loss can feel a lot like withdrawal from a drug. Think of your relationship as the main heater that warmed her house for years, giving her steady comfort. Then one day, it's gone. The whole house is now freezing and strange. Her first reaction isn't to think clearly. It's a deep fear. She'll try to act like she enjoys the cold, telling everyone how refreshing it is while she's secretly shivering. Her social media posts about her amazing new single life are like extra blankets she's using to feel a little warm. But at night, when there are no more distractions and she feels the cold of being alone, her thoughts go back to the heater. She may not want the old difficult heater back with all its problems, but she badly misses the warmth. That's why she watches your stories or checks your profile. She's acting on an old habit, trying to find any bit of that old warmth that made her feel alive. Section 2. The Anchor of Familiarity. The second thing holding her back is the strong pull of what is familiar. The human brain is built to survive, and it prefers what it knows over what it doesn't. Your relationship, with all its good and bad parts, was a world she knew. It had rules, daily habits, and feelings she could predict. She knew how you'd act to bad news, what your text message sound was, and how you breathed when you slept. This whole system, good or bad, was her normal. A breakup throws her out of this comfortable place and into a confusing and scary future. Suddenly, everything in her life is a question. Who will she talk to at the end of the day? What will her weekends be like? This much uncertainty can make a person feel mentally stuck. The pain of the old relationship can feel safer than the unknown pain of building a new life from nothing. Imagine a prisoner who has spent 20 years in the same jail cell. The cell is small and boring, but it's all they know. They know every crack in the wall and when the guards change shifts. One day the gates open. This should be a happy moment of freedom, but it's actually terrifying. The outside world is loud, bright, and full of unknown dangers and choices. Faced with this scary freedom, many former prisoners secretly wish for the simple and predictable life of their cell. They don't miss being locked up. They miss knowing what was going to happen each day. Your ex acting cold and distant is her pretending to be happy in this new big world. That late night story view is her subconsciously looking back at the familiar prison walls, a quick check to see if that predictable but painful world is still there. Section 3. The Identity Mirage. The third and maybe most confusing reason she's stuck is the loss of her own identity. In a long and serious relationship, two people's identities start to mix. It's no longer you and her, it becomes us. Her idea of who she is gets tied up in her role as your partner. Her friends, her daily habits, her plans for the future, all of it was seen through the lens of the relationship. When the breakup happens, she's not just grieving the loss of a person, she's having a deep and confusing crisis of who she is. The person she was, the us version of herself, is gone with the relationship. This leaves an empty space where her sense of self used to be. She has to face the scary question, who am I without him? Studies show this confusion about identity is a main reason people feel terrible and have a strong urge to get back with an ex. It's not always about wanting the person back, but about wanting to feel like you know who you are again. This crisis explains her confusing behavior, the sudden start of new hobbies, a big change in her style, a whole new group of friends. It's all a desperate search for a new identity to fill the empty space. Those happy social media posts are often less for you and more to convince herself that this new, quickly built identity is real. Think of it this way. You were both co-founders of a company for many years. When you left, the company was in chaos. Her sudden changes are like a desperate company rebranding to show a new direction and forget the past. Her silence toward you is a necessary part of this plan. To build a new identity, she has to stay as far away as possible from the main part of her old one, you. Section 4. Cognitive dissonance. The fourth strong force at play is a mental state called cognitive dissonance. This is the uncomfortable feeling you get when you believe two opposite things at the same time. The mind wants to feel consistent and will try hard to fix this conflict. For your ex, especially if she ended the relationship, the fight in her head can be intense. On one side, she believes, I am a smart person who makes good decisions. On the other side is the opposite reality. I ended a relationship that, despite its problems, gave me a lot of happiness and comfort. The act of leaving you goes against the memory of every good time you shared. To feel less stressed, her brain has to find a way to make the breakup seem right. The two easiest ways to do this are to either make you seem like the bad guy or to make her new single life look perfect. This inner conflict is why her behavior can seem so extreme. The sudden coldness she shows isn't how she really feels, it's a way to protect herself from her own conflicting thoughts. By acting like you or the relationship were awful, she can feel better about her decision. In her own mind, she changes the past to feel more at peace. Imagine you spent all your savings on a dream car, only to sell it a year later for a big loss. To explain that strange decision, you'd have to start pointing out flaws. It didn't handle well, it used too much gas, and it was getting expensive to fix. You have to speak badly about the car to feel good about your choice. In this story, you are the dream car she sold. Her acting like you meant nothing is her loudly complaining about the gas mileage to win an argument with herself about all the good times. Section 5. The trauma bond. The fifth and often darkest reason she can't let go is something called a trauma bond. This happens in relationships that weren't just hard, but had a repeating cycle of bad treatment and intense good times, a roller coaster of extreme highs and terrible lows. In these relationships, the connection formed can be as strong as an addiction. The brain gets hooked on the cycle itself, not just the good moments. The good times feel amazing because they offer a break from the stress and pain. A person becomes tied not to real love, but to the hope of getting back to those good moments. Even if she is the one who leaves, this bond doesn't just break. Her body is still used to that chaotic roller coaster, and a normal, stable life can feel boring and empty. Her actions often show this inner chaos. She might seem to move on very quickly and convincingly, maybe by jumping into a new relationship right away, only to fall apart and reappear in your life weeks or months later. This isn't a game. It's a sign that her feelings are out of balance and she's struggling to find stability. Think of a soldier coming home from a war. The war was scary and painful, but it was also a time of high intensity and purpose. Back in a quiet, normal town, life can feel numb and without meaning. The lack of danger can actually create anxiety. They don't miss the trauma, but their body misses the intensity. In this case, your ex's silence isn't peace. It's the strange quiet after a long fight. Her coming and going is her system trying to recover from a war she chose to leave, but is still fighting inside. Section 6. The unwritten final chapter. The sixth thing that ties her to you is the natural human need for a story that makes sense. We are built to want our lives to have clear beginnings, middles, and endings. A breakup, especially one that is sudden or confusing, leaves a person with an unfinished story. Her mind gets stuck in a loop, replaying scenes, analyzing talks, and looking for the missing final chapter, closure. But the truth about closure is that it's not something another person can give you. It is a feeling of peace and acceptance that you have to build for yourself. When someone says they need closure from an ex, they often mean they need an explanation that makes them feel better or fits a story they can accept. This hole in her story is what keeps her mind spinning and thinking about the past. Her confusing actions are a direct result of this search for a good ending. The random questions about the past, the attempts to get an emotional reaction from you, these are all desperate tries to find the missing pages of her story. She is subconsciously hoping that an angry reaction, a sad confession, or any strong feeling from you will show her a hidden truth that will finally make the ending make sense. Imagine reading a great mystery novel only to find that the last 10 pages are torn out. You would be frustrated and obsessed, rereading earlier chapters for clues, unable to start a new book because you're stuck on the unfinished one. Your ex is living inside that unfinished novel. Her checking on you is her flipping back through the chapters one more time, looking for a hidden clue, still believing that if she can just understand why it ended, she can finally close the book and move on. Section 7. The turning point. So, we have looked at the complex reasons that keep her tied to the past, the emptiness of lost connection, the fear of the unknown, the loss of her identity, the inner war of her thoughts, the addictive pull of a trauma bond, and the search for an ending you can't give her. You now have a map of her inner world and understand the invisible strings that keep her tied to you. With this understanding comes the most important turning point, which is all about you. Your first reaction might be to want to do something, to text her and say you understand, to try to fix her loneliness, or to give her the closure she thinks she needs. This is the biggest mistake you can make. Her inner struggle is a problem you cannot solve for her. Any attempt to get involved, no matter how good your intentions, will only make the ties stronger, support her indecision, and make her struggle, and yours, last longer. The real reason she can't seem to let you go is because of the strong impact you had on her life. The best and most powerful thing you can do now is to fully accept that you're gone from her life. Your calm, consistent silence becomes a mirror. Without you there, no texts, no calls, no reactions. She is finally forced to face the true source of her pain, herself. She can no longer use you as a distraction, blame you for her unhappiness, or see you as the missing piece of her story. It's important to understand that this silence isn't a trick to get her back. It is a statement of your own self-worth and a promise to your own healing. Your silence sends a powerful message. My life and my peace are moving forward, with or without you. This is the only message that can cut through the noise in her head, forcing her to either finally deal with her own issues or at last truly let you go. In the end, her struggle is not about your flaws, but is proof of how deep the connection was and how important you were in her life. The wall of indifference she has built is, in a strange way, a monument to your impact. The reason she might act like you meant nothing is because you meant everything. Her mind is caught in a complex trap of needs, a deep loss of identity, and strong defenses that have little to do with you now, and everything to do with the big space you once filled in her life. You cannot fix this for her. It's not your job to save her, be the bad guy, or give her an ending to her story. Your job is to be the man who understands the situation so well that he knows the only way to win is to not play the game. Your path forward is to be calm and detached. It is a path where you focus completely on your own goals, patiently rebuild your own identity based on your own values, and create a life so good for yourself that the ghosts of the past have no choice but to fade away. By understanding these truths, you take back all of your power. You are no longer a confused spectator in her drama. You are a calm observer who sees the situation for what it is and chooses to walk away. The person she can't let go of is the person you were. The person you are becoming is the one who has already and wisely let her go. If this made sense to you and you want to learn how to rebuild your confidence and become a stronger man, subscribe and click the notification bell. In our next video, we'll explain the step-by-step process of creating your new identity after a breakup. Click the video on your screen now to continue your journey. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course takes things to an entirely new level, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. And you won't find this information in any video on my channel. It's available in both English and Spanish language, so you can learn in the language you feel most comfortable with. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit thestoiccouple.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. Let's dive in. See you in the next video.